What was it like to grow up in a cult? I would like to clarify that I technically didn't grow up in this cult, as my parents joined when I was 15, but man, it was awful. Stripped away from my own identity, developed awful anxiety and paranoia. I was genuinely brainwashed for a good year. Thank God my boyfriend came into my life and showed me what the hell was happening, though I wasn't even allowed to date outside the religion. That didn't stop me. I was convinced if I ever left the church, cut my hair, wear pants, wore makeup, and didn't speak in tongues, that I had a one-way ticket to hell. When my parents joined the cult, I lost all my friends and was forced to make friends in the cult. None of the girls were ever nice. It was fake. We couldn't even befriend the boys and had to sit in separate parts of the church. I had to stop all after-school activities because there was service twice on Sunday, once on Tuesday, youth group on Thursday, and prayer nights on Friday and Saturday, and you had to go to all of them. God, there was so much more, but this would run on for too long. But all you can say now is I'm happier than ever. I do have a lot of healing, but it'll get there. Going to school and thinking it was normal conversation to talk about exorcisms was pretty cringy. I think the thing that took me the longest to overcome was the guilt and shame I felt about setting normal and healthy boundaries. I was taught that boundaries were rude, and it turned me into a people pleaser for a long time. People who lack boundaries are exactly who cults want. You get told shit like tornadoes or God punishing bad people. Curious counterpoint. I grew up in the Osho cult that the Doko Wild Country was about. Generally a very positive experience. Basically just a bunch of nice hippies exploring self-actualization. Lots of nudity, but no weird sex things. Probably there were drugs, but I never really was affected by that. It was more like growing up in a tribe with lots of different people from around the world. I escaped the Reformed Christian churches before I got in too deep. One of my siblings stayed till adulthood, and now it's affecting their marriage. They marry young before they know who they are, and divorce is apparently a special kind of sin that you can't recover from, or something. They can't choose what to have for breakfast without checking 1st and 2nd Corinthians to see what the Apostle Paul would be eaten. It's insidious because it looks like normal church stuff, but there's no oversight. Now they are extending into counseling services that are unlicensed and cherry-pick from real psychology Bible, often incompatible values. For example, they counsel women that they are being emotionally abused, while also telling them they can't divorce and the man is the head of the household. I spend a lot of time in therapy now. I've been told that the way I grew up was very cultish, how much weird about it in my circumstances we lived mixed in with other people. But even as a small toddler, you know you're different, and that you can't socialize well. Other children was able to talk about what they wanted to be when they grew up. I knew my fate was to be a young stay-at-home mom to me. Alcohol was a boy thing girls weren't allowed. My reputation was everything without it. I was ruined, but I knew the rules were different for boys. I had zero sex education, because again that was like a boy thing. Now I can see how weird this is, but I thought it was normal even though I knew it wasn't something the rest of the world did. I can't explain it. But the group I grew up in is very incestuous. All of my grandparents are first cousins. Everyone I know, or knew I should say, is married to people they are related to. When I'm related to both of them, they didn't educate children beyond the 3rd grade, or so to prevent being indoctrinated. There's no way to describe how it affects my lived experience. I have no idea what my tells are, but when I inform people, they go, "Oh, that explains so much." Even after years of therapy, and telling myself I'm not still off from the entire thing, I am deeply crippled from the experience, and have no way to make up for the deficit of not having learned the important things that were blocked from my awareness during my developmental years. We prefer to be called the crew team. As a former cult leader, I gotta say cults are a great life experience. I attended a Jesuit school for 10 years, was quite cultish. Try to own your mind and consciousness. Like, even if you think about sex, you've committed grievous sin. Well, as a boy in a single-sex school, what else do you think about except sex? Cold showers didn't help. It's all in the family. Mostly just riddled with guilt. The weight of the world is on your shoulders, so you do whatever they say to alleviate the guilt. Lot of praying and paying. It's absolutely normal. What's strange is once you leave the cult and see how your experiences aren't shared by anyone else you see. What's strange is casually talking with your work friends, and then after saying getting ready for Sabbath, as part of a story, is when you remember that everything after that in the story is going to make you look strange to your coworkers, and so finding an excuse to stop the story and change the subject. Because to me there was nothing strange about how I grew up, as it's all I knew. It never felt strange, until I was making a joke about washing each other's feet for 13 RH Sabbath, and feeling every single one of your friends look at you like you've grown a second head. And realizing it's not they don't like the joke, but were blown away about the part where all the men of the church went to a separate room to wash each other's feet, and what a moment of pride it was when I was paired off to watch the preacher's feet after he did mine, and that's not even one of the crazy cult things. I know of a few religions that do that. But it's useless to try and explain any of that in the lunchroom of a hardware store. That's the moments in life that feel strange. A close friend. They suppress intelligence, independent and critical thinking. No Disney, no movie theaters, limited TV, only their version of the Bible and related books. She was a JW, very skittish young adult. They tried to raise mindless slaves, minimal schooling. You're in a bubble. You think the bubble is all reality. Everyone, including teachers, hating me because I was not allowed to salute the flag. I was patriotic and had family and friends that served. Was just a kid doing what my cultist family told me to do or else. Had a teacher get pissed and grabbed me by the collar of my coat and yelled at me. I would like to know what it's like to not grow up in a cult. It was a great experience that really helped with starting my own cult later in life. Like, yeah, you can learn to be a cult leader as an adult, but you won't ever be as good as one who started learning in kindergarten.